All right, I am here in Bahrain with a Bahrain thing to do. Today we are going to be looking at ruins that date back as far as 3000 BC. However, the majority fabric of what we're going to see today at this fort date back to the 6th century. This is Qal'at al-Bahrain, or the Fort of Bahrain. Let's take a look. Welcome back to another installment of 747 Tour Guide. I am your host, Stefan. Bahrain Fort lies only 13-minute taxi ride from the hotel they usually put us at. Make sure to book a return taxi either with the hotel concierge or with the taxi driver himself. Ours wasn't very busy, and he was kind enough to wait the 2 hours in the air-conditioned museum cafe. The oldest ruins, which I'll show you in a sec, date as far back as 2300 BC. The Copper and Bronze Age ruins were part of the Dilmun civilization, encompassing most of the Persian Gulf at its height. The remains on the Fort of Bahrain grounds were part of an early port trading post. There are 4 main sections to the Fort Bahrain grounds. 1. You'll first walk past the remains of a Bronze Age fort. Sadly, the foundation stones are the only thing remaining. 2. The Portuguese fort was built during their colonial conquest of Bahrain from 1521 to 1602. The fort was abandoned after cannon fire compromised its superstructure in 1559. 3. The oldest Copper Age ruins lie just to the south side of the main gate of the Portuguese citadel. And 4. An air-conditioned museum and associated cafe at the entrance will provide a refreshing reprieve from the heat. That said, make sure to bring water. Fort Bahrain was listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 2005. So these walls here are actually older than any Roman ruins. Here I am overlooking what has to be the oldest part of the Qal'at al-Bahrain complex. These ruins and these foundations here have to go back, probably the oldest. And again, this goes back to up to 3000 years BC. So these are from the 2000s BC. Simply amazing. Just unbelievable how long this stuff has been here. Alright, so the fort ruins behind me are the newest part of this ages-old fortification. The fortification here was started in the 6th century, but then finally fell into disrepair and was abandoned in the 1600s. But this is what's left behind me. This is absolutely amazing, and it's free. And here's the bummer: when we got to the front gate, it said closed. But clearly it's being closed for restoration and preservation purposes. They've got buckets and scaffolding and all these different construction materials here. So if they do have to do it to keep the structure preserved, I understand it, but hopefully by this time next year, the inside will be as open as the outside. But even a walk around of this place and looking at the ancient ruins that lie outside the perimeter of the fortress, it's just mind-blowing considering how old it is. And considering it was free to get here, but the taxi was, let's see here, I'll put the dollars conversion on the screen right now for the taxi here. It's a 15-minute ride and not too expensive. So even if it's closed, it might be worthwhile coming out to take a look at it. All right, folks, once you're done exploring the fortress, it's time to cool off in a quaint but very nicely finished air-conditioned museum with associated cafe. And yes, they also serve cold water. you.